Extension apps enable you to add external functionality to the DocuSign platform and publish your solutions in the DocuSign App Center. By building and publishing an extension app, you give all customers, or just customers you specify, easy, automated ways to enhance their DocuSign experience. For instance, extension apps can export documents from a workflow to an external app, verify specific data, like bank account details or addresses during a signing process, verify data, like client IDs, against your internal systems, or read data from and write data to another application. DocuSign administrators can select extension apps from the DocuSign App Center to install to their accounts. DocuSign users in their organization can then integrate additional functionality into their agreement processes using the installed extension apps. For instance, process builders can add steps to import and export data from their workflows. And agreement preparers can add data verification fields to their envelopes or templates to automatically verify user-entered data in real time when completing an agreement. Creating an extension app has two main parts: architecting your app and setting up your app on the DocuSign platform. Architecture involves planning your app structure and setting up your IT infrastructure to support your app. You first need to decide which extensions your app will use. DocuSign supports multiple extensions, including File I/O, which exports files to cloud storage and systems of record; Data I/O, which exchanges data with external systems; Data Verification, which verifies data against standard data models; and Connected Fields, which verifies data against custom data models and can autofill data after a verification response. Each extension can be triggered from specific places in DocuSign agreement processes, which are known as its extension points. You can build extension apps that users can access when building IAM workflows and in the eSignature Add Fields view. Next, you collect the details your app needs to connect to the external API you'll be using. You'll need to identify the URL of each endpoint that your extension app will call, and authorization details, including the authorization URL, the token URL, your client ID, your client secret, and any required scopes. You also need to set up your IT infrastructure to support working with your extension app. In particular, you should configure an API proxy if your API requests and responses don't match the schema that DocuSign expects, your authorization service or identity provider to ensure that DocuSign can obtain permission to access API resources, and your network's firewall and ad blocker to make sure that DocuSign can send requests to the API service and that your users can install your extension app. Finally, you need to decide who will have access to your extension app. Your app can be public or private. A public extension app is available to all DocuSign customers. A private extension app is available only to a specific set of accounts that you designate. In addition, you can choose the regions in which your extension app will be available. After you complete your app architecture, you'll set up your app on the DocuSign platform. You use the DocuSign Developer Console to register your app with DocuSign. You add authorization and request details for your API endpoints, and you provide metadata that's displayed in the DocuSign App Center listing for your extension app. Next, you can test your extension app using built-in test functions. And finally, you can submit your app for review and publish it to the DocuSign App Center. Let's take a look at how you set up an extension app with DocuSign. First, you need to open the DocuSign Developer Console and log in with your DocuSign developer account. When you click Create App, you can choose between filling out a form or editing the JSON structure for the manifest. You specify information about your app using the app configuration details you collected. After the app is created, the overview page shows your current app settings as well as aspects of your app that you can configure. Click Integration Details to customize your app to reflect the architecture decisions you made and the information you collected. In the Connection section, click Edit, then customize the values for your auth settings, including parameters, custom configuration, and authorization parameters. In the Extensions and Actions section, click Edit. The actions include placeholder URIs, which you must replace with valid URIs for the API your app will call. You can also update metadata for the extension and actions. If your extension app uses multiple extensions, you must customize the data for each one. After you finalize your integration details, you can install the app in your developer account to test your connections and actions. You can also test your app inside DocuSign using the available extension points. Before you publish, you must also customize the metadata for your App Center listing. Finally, you submit your app for review. After a successful review by DocuSign, Your extension app will appear with an approved status in the developer console. You can then publish it to the App Center. If you created a public extension app, it will immediately be available in the App Center for all DocuSign customers in the regions you selected. If you created a private extension app, you'll have to specify the production accounts that you want to share the app with.